Miss Transformers 96 here with another end of the year countdown. This time I'm going to be doing my countdown on my top 5 favorite regular movies of the year. I will be doing several countdowns this year. However, I'm going to be doing 3 that are specific to movies. I'm doing this one, which is just my 5 favorite regular movies of the year. I'm going to do my 5 least favorite movies of the year, and then my top, just ranking all the superhero movies and Star Wars Rogue One in order from my least favorite to my favorite. So because of that, this video will not include any sort of comic book movies in the countdown, simply because I really have a big hard time comparing regular movies to comic book movies, just because I love comic book movies so much, and I'm such a big fan of the source material and the characters that go into them. So I can judge the comic book movies off of each other, but I really have a lot of trouble, comparing like a good comic book movie to like my all-time favorite movie of the year. Like, which one do I put higher? Because one's a comic book movie which I love already, but then one's just a movie that I absolutely love. So because of that, I am not going to be comparing them, and therefore I'm making 2 separate videos. One that's comic book related, one that's just regular movie related, and then I'm doing, a favorite and a least favorite as far as the regular movies. But this video is just about my favorite regular movies, and I'm going to do my top 5. I do see a ton of movies each year. I actually have probably seen the most movies I've ever seen in a single year this year. I do actually keep a list of the movies I see. So if you want to just take a look, just kind of scroll through this a little bit so you can kind of see the movies that I did see. Of course, I didn't see every movie that's out. However, I saw quite a few. I also see, small movies a lot. I do enjoy going to to seeing, smaller films. But as you can see, quite a few movies this year. I saw 130 individual movies this year, and then I've seen total, if you count up all the movies that I've seen several times, I went to the movies a total of 182 times this year, and saw 130 individual movies. So let's start off this countdown. Alright, at 5th place we have Hunt for the Wilderpeople. This is a movie that probably a lot of you haven't heard of, but it really took me by surprise. I didn't really know much about it before it came out. When I was just looking to see a movie one night, I had seen most of the things that were out, so I just was starting to go through some of the more obscure things and watched the trailer for this, and got through about, like 30 seconds of the trailer and just was like, I definitely want to see this. I ended up going to see it that night, and it was just a blast. It's mainly a drama, but it has a very strong comedy element to it. It was definitely, I would say, the funniest movie I've seen all year. It had a fantastic sense of humor, and it was just really surprising, really fun, and I loved it. And also, it makes me very excited for Thor Ragnarok, considering this is the same director that is now doing Thor Ragnarok. This next Thor movie is his first mainstream project. The comedy in Hunt for the Wilderpeople was so good, though, that I think that the Thor 3 definitely will have a strong comedy aspect to it, which can be really great because, if they go with the same type of comedy that was in this movie, it's going to be really good. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie that I really wasn't expecting too much of. Now, 4th place, I have to give it to Room. Room was a movie that I saw very early on in 2016. I believe it may have had a small release in 2015, but I saw it in 2016. This was a movie that was quite good. I went to see it because I had heard so much buzz about it. I wasn't really excited for it. I figured that it would be a rather depressing subject matter, but it might be good. But after actually watching it, it was really captivating, really well done as far as, they didn't go for any shock value with the subject matter. They did it from the kids' perspective, which was really excellent. This movie was nominated for Best Movie of the Year. In my opinion, I would have won Best Picture out of the ones that they had chosen for 2015. So I really enjoyed this movie. It turned out to be really good, and I loved the take that they took on this type of story. Most movies that tell this type of story would go a little bit more a different route to get people to go kind of more of a somewhat shock value type of thing. But this one actually did it really nicely, and they did it in a tasteful manner, which is good. Now, 3rd place, it's 10 Cloverfield Lane. As you can see, I do have the Blu-ray for it. This movie was super surprising just because nobody knew it was coming out until a month before it was released. And the trailer debuted the night that 13 Hours came out. 13 Hours is the name of it. The Michael Bay movie. I can't remember, but I saw it Thursday night, and so I was, got to see the trailer when it debuted, the time that it debuted, because they didn't actually put it online until like the next day. It was very exciting because it was just nobody saw it coming because there was no announcement for it, and the trailer was just super strong. I was worried about the movie because I thought, the movie probably won't be as good as the trailer is because I fell in love with the trailer. It was so good, and the movie was great. It was suspenseful. It had an excellent mystery to it, and it wasn't super predictable. I mean, you kind of went back and forth as to whether, who was a good guy, who was a bad guy, basically throughout the entire film. My only issue with it is the ending. I won't spoil anything, but I'm not a fan of how this movie ends. I feel like if they ended the movie like 10 minutes earlier, like, when the main story ends, basically, I think I would have been much happy with it. I don't like the direction that they went with at the end. However, the very claustrophobic personal story between these three characters that don't quite know who each other is, for the most part, was extremely captivating, very neat, and just super unique. And I do love unique movies, so I really did love 10 Cloverfield Lane. My second favorite movie of the year, regular movie there, was Kubo and the Two Strings. I do really like stop motion films. I think that the art of it is fantastic, and it's something that really, is dying, obviously, with advanced technology. They don't have to do it that way anymore, but I think that there's such an amazing charm to it that I'm really happy that there is a company that still does it, Leica, who obviously has made all of the stop motion movies within the past couple of years. As you can see, I've got the Blu-ray for Coraline, Paranorman, Box Trolls, and they produce really fantastic films. Coraline and Paranorman I absolutely love. Box Trolls, it's a fine kids movie, but it's nothing special. But those other two I absolutely love. So, I wasn't sure what to expect with Kubo. It didn't look great, but it was just, I was interested in it because it was stop motion, of course. But seeing it really blew me away. It was so amazing. I mean, the subject material in it is quite mature for a kid's film, which Leica does seem to do sometimes. Not with Box Trolls, but with Paranorman and Coraline they did, and they didn't stop here. They did it with more mature type of story elements in this one, and which just were great. I absolutely loved it. It had such a charming, fantastic story that felt so advanced for the look of the film, basically. And then, of course, the stop motion itself is just excellent and beautiful, and I love the look of stop motion films. They're just fantastic. So I really hope Leica continues to make films, even though each movie makes less money at the box office. It's very disappointing. However, the owner's dad is like the owner of Nike's or something, so he mainly keeps the company afloat from his dad's money, which, I think is great. As long as he can keep making movies, I'm very happy with it because, for the most part, they just produce such high quality films, and, and I feel like not enough people see them because they have a kid's look to them. But yet the stories, other than Box Trolls, the stories are really for adults, but the look of the film has more of a childish look, which is why I feel like the movies just don't do well. But definitely, if you haven't seen Coraline or Paranorman, definitely watch those. 100%, they're fantastic. I would say that Kubo might be my favorite out of all three of them, actually. Although I do love Coraline, but I think that Kubo is just amazing. Definitely my second favorite movie of the year, and for a long time I thought it was going to be my favorite movie, but there was one movie that beat it, and that's Arrival. Arrival was an absolutely fantastic film. Denis Villeneuve is a new director that I think is going to make a huge splash. He's starting to really come onto the scene here with his last three films. The last two that he did, Prisoners and Sicario, were good films. I really liked Prisoners. Sicario I did like as well, but Arrival was just mind-blowing to me. I absolutely love it. It's the type of story that I like. It's a science fiction it's a science fiction genre, but it's more of a drama. If I've seen anybody that didn't like this movie, it was because they went into it expecting it to be like this big alien invasion, like action movie, when it's not. It's a personal drama between a mother and her child, which is fantastic. It's at the heart of the story, and just the sci-fi elements of it is the backdrop for that heart of the story. It's absolutely beautifully well shot. I love the choreography in this film. I was in a contemporary cinema last semester, and I did write a paper on Arrival, the cinematography in Arrival. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. The story, isn't... I'm definitely not going to spoil anything, but the story isn't, so one-sided. Basically, there's lots of elements that you'll see to it as the film progresses, which I really love, and it was just fantastic. It's the type of movie that I love, and it's just beautifully done. I cannot wait to buy it when it comes out. Definitely my favorite movie of the year, and I couldn't like it anymore, basically. So there you go. That's my top 5 favorite films of the year. Regular films, not superhero or anything like that. Just some others that almost made it on this list that I wrote down here. Let's see. Sing Street, Cafe Society, Deepwater Horizon, Jungle Book, Ninth Life of Louis Drax, and Don't Think Twice. All of those really good movies. Really did enjoy all of them. However, these 5 were what I'd say were my favorite regular films of the year. So stay tuned. I'll be doing this same type of thing, but with the reverse, with the worst movies of the year, and then I'll also be ranking all of the superheroes movies plus Rogue One in a separate video together. Let me know what you guys think of my choices. Let me know what your guys' favorite movies were, and thanks so much for watching.